getting into the conspiracy theories, I find myself often wondering why, because you said something interesting just now. You say people want to hear positive messages and have that positive encouragement. I'd say outside of maybe rom-coms, I'm thinking over here of Bridget Jones and that kind of thing, which even that is kind of laced with its own weirdness. I'm looking at our movies, I'm listening to our music and such, I'm seeing our adverts that we have in place. I do wonder to what extent we as people do also cling to the negative. What do you think makes a negative message so easily marketed? Because if we listen to the labels, then we're therefore saying that sex, that drugs, that violence, these are the things that people want to hear. Or we could look at it from the perspective of people are more accepting of these things because they've been hit over the head with them for how long now? We're constantly used to seeing all these images, hearing all these things. So do we think that we're more accepting of these things because someone's deliberately made a conscious decision to place these things in front of us? Or do we think these things are more marketable because people are more inclined to want to hear and see those types of content?
I think people stick to what they're used to. In an environment where there's gang violence and people shooting each other and killing and drugs and all that kind of stuff, that's what they're used to. So if someone does a song and raps about it, they're like, yeah, that's my stuff, because they get it. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they always want to hear. If that's what's always pitched to them, that's what's available. I'll tell you an example. This is talking about something completely different. But if you if you watch music videos, and you people are of the impression that if you put a girl in a music video, she has to be scantily dressed or whatever. But then every artist, every singer, even when you see people come out of the X Factor and then they go into the music world, before they started off at X Factor fully clothed, and then they go into the music world and boom, strip.
Yeah, Alexandra Burke would back up that opinion nicely. I mean, as quote unquote someone who was in a church choir, that transition to Bad Boys was quite swift. Yeah,
but do you know what I mean? Now, I think personally, the radio and labels put that out there because everyone's putting that out there, giving the impression that that's what everybody wants. That as soon as you do that, people want to listen to you. My point is, most of the music that we consume is from radio. It's from CDs and music we listen to, not from what we watch on telly. So the fact that Alexandra Burke is wearing whatever she's wearing, and again, I'm not condemning, she can wear whatever she likes. I don't particularly listen to all her music, and that's not my point. But people don't necessarily like a song because of what the artist wore. They listen to the song first. They're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this album. Then they see. So for me, that just puts some kind of parallel to it. I'm saying, who's saying that is what we necessarily want to see? Because we will like the artist from their music on radio, whether we see them or not. Music videos are just an addition to things. Now, yes, maybe some people like to see that kind of stuff. I'm not saying, but it's because it's been made available. If there's none of that stuff to see, we'll still listen to music. It makes no difference. I will still appreciate a video. I just think everyone's bought into that thing that I have to. Oh, my label says that would be more marketable, and I just think it's people just accepting something that isn't necessarily true. People like Adele. I don't know what Adele's body looks like. Do you know what I mean? People like different artists, regardless of how they, people like Janelle Monáe. People like, these are people who just do music and do good music. Regardless of how they look, and I just think that's in a lot of ways that's something that's sold to everyone and become the norm, whereas it doesn't affect whether we like the artist or not.
In terms of the relatability you speak of, in terms of whether we're able to relate to a person, like you were saying, because it's something I've heard a few times in terms of that kind of the realness, so to speak. There's a sense that the realer you are as an artist, and the more truth you speak, despite whatever your truth is, that people relate to it as truth. I think what I'd throw into the mix in terms of that relatability that we speak of, when I've seen a Jay-Z concert, for example, the majority of the audience are a Caucasian audience, and I doubt many of them have ever sold drugs. I doubt many of them have ever had to shoot at anybody or shot at anybody, anything like that. Yet they have a deep-rooted connection to either the music, to the person, or to the feeling that comes with it. What do you think is driving that?
I think music does two things. Music, people appreciate music for two reasons, in my opinion. People appreciate music, one, because it's something they can relate to and they can put themselves in the artist's shoes. Also because it takes them to a world where they can, some sort of euphoria, sort of, they can live in a world that escapism. They can go. It's like a drug. They can go into escapism, go into this world with the artist for a bit, and enjoy the world, and then come back to reality afterwards. So that's two things. Now, some of so Jay-Z would have two kinds of fans. He would have the fans who are from where he's from, Marcy, Brooklyn, New York, who've seen all that stuff and they relate to what he talks about. Well, back in the day, he doesn't talk about much of that stuff. He talks about Picasso and paintings these days and his children. But they can relate to that stuff. And then he also has the, like you said, Caucasian and people who are not even from America or from that life, who want to go, okay, oh wow, okay, that sounds cool. I'm gonna go into that world for a bit and come back to reality. And those two things, good or bad, those two things are what makes an artist likable or relatable. And what you want to do is, especially as an artist who's a Christian, and who just believes in wholesome and positivity and just influencing people, positively with the message of Christ. For me, what I don't want to do is, what I want to do is make my message relatable, but I also want to take them into a world where all is good and they can actually enjoy life, and it's not always about what's wrong or what we need to fix. Sometimes we just need to sit down and count our blessings as well. So I also do that, but in a different light. But yeah, so that's just the way it is. So don't and that's why when hip hop became massive, became huge, it didn't come huge because there was a lot more people who could relate to gang, who were into gang violence and could relate to it. It became massive because there's a lot more people who appreciated the culture, who appreciated the stuff that they never thought was happening at all over the world. I was watching yesterday. I was watching a stage performance by Hobson. I don't know if you've heard of Hobson. And he's done the Ill Mind of Hobson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to 7. I think.
Very talented.
He's very talented. And just the creativity and the way he puts his words together. Obviously, he needs help in certain areas. But hey, not creatively. I mean, he just talks about. He just goes off on one sometimes. But he's just speaking his mind. Now, at the concert, there was a white kid who was, I think he might not have been in America, might have been Canada or something. But there was a kid who got up. He says, is there anyone in the audience that can rap the whole of the mind of Hobson, or the ill mind of Hobson, verse 5, number 5. And then this guy came up and he was like, literally like, we're going to boo you if you get anything wrong. He was like, I know the whole thing, I've got it, He got up on stage. And they started the song. He rapped the entire thing. Hobson was just the hype man. He rapped the entire verse. He went on for 5 minutes. He just kept going and kept going and kept going. And that's, I don't think the guy necessarily can relate to Hobson's life as such, but he can go into that way. He can understand it. He can appreciate it. And it's like, and that's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of creativity. And that's what rappers are here to do. So people get people, and I think people need to take responsibility for what they come away with from what they listen to. You can't necessarily, yes, I agree that the artists should be role models, should be responsible for what they put out there, but ultimately I think people need to be responsible for what they take out of what they listen to, because like I said, the artist does two things: relatability, as well as take you on a journey, introduce you into a new world and make you feel awesome for a few minutes.